So as you probably heard there's a problem with this rear silencer. We started maybe last time I drove it about a week ago, and I discovered these strands coming out of the back of the exhaust. I thought, a bit strange, growing a tail, so maybe we've lost a little bit of horsepower. Couldn't resist that one. Anyway, so we've lost a few more strands since then, and now you'll have heard there's a strange sound when the car's idling, a clanging noise. I actually shone a light into this pipe the other night when I got home, and it looks like the silencer inside has actually started to break down now. So today's job is to get that one off, and then we need to fit a replacement part. So first job today is to loosen off this clamp that we've got. So we've got a clamp here joining the rear silencer to the midsection, and then we've got a couple of rubber exhaust mounts at the back, and hopefully it should come away nice and easily. Fingers crossed. I've already pre-soaked these overnight with some penetrating oil, but we'll give another spray as well just to help these things off hopefully a little smoother. Got a 13mm spanner here, so we've got these two bolts on this clamp, which should hopefully crack free, and it looks like they're not going to come easily. This one's starting to turn. So I've actually ended up ordering two silencers for this. So the first one, I placed an order with a stockist online who was showing availability, and the next morning I got an email saying the part wasn't available. So I've then managed to order through a main dealer, but the main dealer has had to source the part from Belgium of all places, and delivery could take a week and a half, 2 weeks maybe. In the meantime, the original online stockist who didn't have the part, who I cancelled the order with, has now delivered the part to me. So as soon as we get this one off, make sure the part's right, then we need to make a few phone calls. It's a good job I got another clamp, because I've just sheared that end of that clamp off, which I suppose was to be half expected. So I don't know how long this exhaust has been on here. The car is rapidly approaching 25 years old, although I suspect this is probably not the original exhaust. So this is where we've removed the clamp. We've now got this section at the back which slips over the centre section, and we've got obviously a cut in there. What we need to do is try and break this free. Now I suspect we may need to get a chisel or something under there and pry that open. So it looks like we're in for a fun morning. So the system is held in place with 3 rubber mounts. So what we'll try to attempt to do now is undo these rubber mounts, and hopefully that'll allow us to move the exhaust a little bit, hopefully break that seal without having to start chiseling, because the last thing I want to do is dent that midsection that we're keeping. Obviously we want a nice tight seal so we don't have any gas escaping when we fit the new pipe. So luckily I have actually got some replacement rubbers as well. It's just as well I've got my safety goggles on, because already there's bits of rust falling off from under here, and I've already had a spell off work last year after getting rust in one of my eyes. I can assure you it's certainly not pleasant. Aha! There's one down. Almost. Good job I've got replacement rubbers, because that looks to have a sleeve inside, and the rubber's come off, but the sleeve is still stuck on the old silencer. Right, 2 more to go. That one came almost too easy. One more to go. Yes! Well, that came away easier than expected. That definitely doesn't sound too good. Yep. Full of rust. Right, on to the next one. So with the old tailpipe removed, we now need to clean up where we're going to make the join to this old section. Obviously we've got a lot of old crud sealer etc on there, so we're going to clean it up. We're going to use a bit of wire wool just to try and rub that down, and then we've got some sealer to put on ready for the new pipe. I've also test fitted the new pipe as well, just to make sure that it's going to sit right, because even though it's a similar shape, there are some slight differences in the mounting clamps and the bends in the pipe. Very subtle, but we just wanted to make sure that nothing was fouling or getting in the way. So I'll begin by rubbing this one down. Then I've got my trusty safety glasses just in case. I want to get all this area clean to help ensure that we get a nice tight seal, because if we don't, potentially exhaust gases could escape around the side. That's coming away nicely. Quite fortunate really that we're only having to do the rear section. If we were having to do the whole thing right to the front, that could be quite a pain, where the exhaust goes up behind the bulkhead. So stand away a minute, just give me a bit of access to the top of the pipe. So it'll be interesting to see once this is done, because the old system, just before it started to fail me, was starting to get quite a nice raspy sound to it. Quite not obtrusive, but quite pleasant driving the car around, but certainly on the downshifts it had a really nice raspy exhaust note. So whether that will remain now or whether that will be lost with the new intact silencer remains to be seen. Right, I think we're ready to push fit that in. We'll also get our clamp ready. That's a lot better. Just slip that one over the end of there, and I'll thread this new pipe through, push it into place roughly, and we'll put some of the sealant paste around, and we also need to get our exhaust rubbers in place as well. In fact, I'll get those ready now, because we don't want it, we want to get it sort of in position so that the paste sets where we want it. And here's one of our new rubbers. put this one into place here. Oh, the old one must have been warm because this one's a bit tighter getting in. I should just push up and then twist. One down, two to go. These old ones don't actually look too bad, but we'll play it on the safe side. I've got the new ones, so we'll put them in. Hopefully it should last longer. Right, so with most of this in place now, we're just going to put some of this paste on, and once the system is all in place and hooked up, we'll run the engine at idle, just allow it to warm up. Hopefully that should help the paste set, and pretty quickly that should all dry out and we're good to go. So imagine this will go off quite quickly and set firm. So we need to make sure that's pushed all the way down. I'm just using my knee here to hold the back of the silencer up, so that's one of the rubbers on already. So that's now pushed all the way down to the bottom there, as far as it can go. So once we're happy with that, put our clamp back over. So I'm going to roughly tighten this up, and then what we'll do afterwards is we'll get our torque wrench, and the suggested torque is around 25 Newton meters on this clamp, so not excessively tight at all. There we're set. I don't know if you can see that or not, but 25 Newton meters. The problem we do have is I could do with some deep sockets, which I haven't got, so, but this one should just go on. So I'll do each one a little bit at a time, just to make sure we get this nice and straight. I imagine this may take some time as the pipe compresses into shape. So I can actually see those cuts now around the end of the new section of pipe, which are designed for ease of fitting. They're actually starting to contract now, so that's starting to clamp down nice and tight. So I should expect this to click off at some point very soon, like that. And the other one, there we go. All looks good. So I'll check those rear mounts again, just make sure everything's secure and we're happy with the position, and then we'll start the car up, see how it goes from there. So that's the new pipe on, so engine's idling. So far everything seems okay. I did undo that clamp and rotate it a little bit because I weren't happy with the position, how it was hanging. I didn't want it to catch anything, so we just rotated that a few degrees. I am concerned by one of the rubbers here, because the mounting brackets on this pipe are different to the old one. When I tried pushing it up, there's a part that could strike underneath the car, so but I'll have to test that, and if it becomes an issue then I might have to look into seeing if I can resolve that, sort of going over bumps, that sort of thing. But so far so good, so we'll let that idle a few minutes. Just get a bit of heat in there to help that paste to set. So it's only been around a week since the Megane came off the road with the issue with the rear silencer, but I've really missed driving this car. It always seems to put a smile on my face. Everything just seems so easy, and the car rides so nice. Yeah, it's never going to win any races, but it's just such a comfortable place to be. So now everything's warmed up, let's see how the exhaust note sounds. Well, I'd say so far everything sounds pretty good. The rasp is not completely there, but certainly I wouldn't say there's any huge difference. I just dropped the window down, everything's nice and quiet when we're idle as well. And certainly, while I was driving out here with a nice steady cruise, everything seemed pretty quiet and refined, so I'd say early indications are pretty good. It's obviously an OEM spec third-party exhaust because the original Renault ones are no longer obtainable. But yeah, it seems pretty much as I would expect it to be, so obviously time will tell if that seal is nice and tight. The car will be due for an MOT later on this year, so when it goes for its MOT inspection, obviously if there are any issues, I would imagine they'll probably pick up on it then. Yeah, this engine really does seem to like to rev. To say it's only an 8-valve unit always surprises me, but it really seems to come alive once you get to about 3,500 revs. Pheasant. So for another week, that is it from me. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. This is actually the first time I've fitted a back box on a car, so obviously if there are any hints and tips, let me know in the comments below. It'd be great to hear. I'm always interested to learn more. Or perhaps you've never done the job and you're thinking of doing it yourself and you've got some questions to ask. There'll be more videos coming along soon. Obviously there's not many events on at the moment. I do have one coming up very soon, a Cars and Coffee event. So obviously I intend to try and do some filming there. And hopefully there'll be another vehicle review to come up very soon as well. Until next time, goodbye from me for now.